Sup, this is David, and today I want to talk to you about pawns versus kings, sacrifice, and playing the game. So I'll give you an example of what this might look like by giving you an example of business. So let's pretend you are starting out on a business. And usually when you are starting up a new business, you have to go through a lot of sacrifices. So you might have to sacrifice a lot of your time and energy, for example. You might have to sacrifice socializing and going out with your friends. You might have to sacrifice alcohol. You might have to sacrifice TV and Netflix and social media in order to be able to get your work done. So these are what I like to call sacrifices. So let's take that and look at the metaphor of chess. So in the game of chess, usually what most people do, and this is like for beginner like chess players and beginner people, about entrepreneurs, like say it's a beginner business person. So what usually people do in the beginning stages is they think that getting more pieces, capturing more pieces is the goal of the game, or that's how they become illusioned to believe, right? They start the game and then they start capturing pieces, right? And because they are capturing all these pieces, they think they are doing well. But all of a sudden, the opponent comes up to you next to your king and says, checkmate. And you're thinking, what? How did this happen? I have more pieces than this other person, but they won the game. So the purpose in a chess game is not getting the most pieces. The purpose of a chess game is to capture the king. And sometimes a good strategy in chess is to sacrifice a few of your lower pieces in order to get to the king. So we're talking about sacrifice here. And in order to get to a certain goal that you may have, in order to create a business, you're gonna have to go through some sacrifices sometimes. And like I mentioned in the beginning, you might have to sacrifice a little bit of your time and energy. You might have to sacrifice going out with your friends and drinking all the time. So there's many things that you have to want to sacrifice. But these are just small menial things when compared to the main goal. And if you could do that, if you continuously make these sacrifices, these good sacrifices, then you can ultimately get to the ultimate goal of creating a successful business. Or is it? Or is it? Because this is what I used to think when I started off in entrepreneurship and in business. I wanted to meet all my income goals. I wanted to get all the work stuff and build this long-lasting and successful business and become rich and wealthy and famous and everything else, right? That's what I used to think. And I used to sacrifice a lot of things. Like I used to never go out, I used to never drink. I quit drinking, and I quit socializing, as a matter of fact. And so looking back on like the last 4 years of my life, I would say, I did this again at a later age. So in the beginning I did this, and then when I went back into my entrepreneurship mode, and I called it like monk mode, I did this again. So this was very recent, like 4 years ago, or not 4 years ago, up until recently, the last 4 years of my life. And so, is that the purpose of chess though? Is the real purpose to capture the king? On one paradigm, that is. In a logical mindset, that is the ultimate end goal of chess, is to capture the king, and so you can win the game, right? But that's looking at it from a lower paradigm, and also that's looking at it from, I would say, like the physical nature of reality. But there's a higher paradigm, and this is what I realized, I would say like the last year. And so when I look back on those 4 years, I was working really hard. Right? I barely socialized, I barely drank. Like there was a few times I did, but for the most part, I barely touched that stuff. I had like zero social life, to be honest. Just a few times when friends would come to visit, and then I would go out. And looking at those past 4 years, I got a lot of stuff done, and my business was increasing. I was working on those goals, and I was hitting those goals, and I got a lot of stuff I wanted to accomplish for many years. But was I truly having fun and enjoying myself? Was I truly living? And so I looked at that chess analogy and I thought, that's actually not the purpose of chess, nor any other game. The purpose of chess and any other game is not about winning. The purpose of chess is to enjoy the game, is to play the game, is to enjoy it so you can continuously play the game even more. And so I thought, that is the perfect analogy for what I was going through the past 4 years of my life. I might have been on a lower level, lower paradigm, like winning the game, but on a higher paradigm, the main purpose was enjoying the game, and I wasn't enjoying myself. I was just stuck in monk mode all the time, not going out, not having fun. And yeah, but drinking alcohol, I wouldn't, I wouldn't get drunk every single week or maybe not even every single month. But having a drink or two every once in a while, it doesn't seem too bad. Just letting yourself loose sometimes and just going out there and socializing with friends. Even socializing with friends, I thought of as wasting time. But now I look at it, and I'm like, you know what? Is that really wasting time? Or am I just enjoying life more by socializing a bit more? And of course, there has to be a balance. You don't always want to be in work mode, but you don't always want to be in play mode either. You gotta find that common ground. And I would say like the past year, there was this one question that really brought home this big epiphany for me. And that question was, what if you had to do this? Like there was a gun in your head and somebody would pull the trigger if you didn't do this. What if you had to work really, really hard? You have to get stuff done. You have to hit your goals. But at the same time, you also have to have fun. You also have to enjoy every day, every single day. You also have to have an adventurous life. And just imagine that today was the last day. If I was working the entire day, that would be such a bad way for me to go out. And so I thought to myself, okay, how do I make every day being able to get stuff done, but also have fun at the same time? And so when I asked myself that question, my perspective changed completely. Now I come at it with the framework of let's get work done, yeah, but also let's loosen up and enjoy myself, because that's what life should be all about. Life, if you take the analogy of the game, and life can be portrayed as that same analogy, it's about enjoying life, right? It's about loving that journey. So how do we do both at the same time? And when I got into that mindset, like life became so much easier. It's a paradox, because once you start to loosen up, once you start to enjoy yourself and let yourself go a little bit more, the more successes that comes. and like, I'll give you an example of Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan, when he was like at his peak, he started doing all these other extracurricular stuff. He started like doing all these advertisements, and he started doing all these sponsorships, and he forgot what made him play the game in the first place. And he realized he was playing the game for the love of the game, because he enjoyed the game so much. And so when he went back into that mode of just playing the game for the enjoyment of the game, for loving the game, paradoxically, he started winning more championships that way. And so it's a life paradox, right? Like once you start to enjoy yourself more, you start to let go just a little bit more and really enjoy that process, then the result comes so much more easier. And that's the paradox. Once you start enjoying the process more, the results gets there so much more easily. The destination comes so much more easily. So that's just a little story, I guess, of what I wanted to say about enjoying yourself. To get out of that framework of always trying to win the game, right? Like I said in the example, and it was kind of like a twist at the end. So you want to be able to sacrifice some pawns in order to get to the king, but sometimes you also want to elevate yourself and know that the purpose of the game is not just to get the king, but the purpose of the game is to enjoy the game. And I also want to leave you off with that last question. How can you, every day, you have to do this every day, or else life is just going to pass you by. And every day, how can you have that perspective of how can I get my stuff done, how can I get work done, but also at the same time, how do I enjoy this life? Live life as if it's the last day, but also be getting stuff done. And when you take on that mindset, you just started a trajectory into a different parallel reality, my friend. So that's all I have for this video. I hope you found value out of this one. If you appreciated, or if you got value out of this video, then I would appreciate a like and a sub. That'd be very appreciated. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.